The views and opinions expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show's host, guests, and viewers. We are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of any sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers team in the hope that it'll be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's 7 o'clock and time for On the Spot with David Rodgers. And now, here he is, Mr. Friday Night, the show pony himself, the man, the dream, the legendary David Rodgers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm your host, David Rodgers, alongside Mitchell Gunner, Byron Bagwell, Mr. Dave Holland, Mr.
What's his name?
The other guy, the Dragon Slayer, Michael Heater. Welcome into On the Spot with David. Whoa, wait a minute. What in the heck? Look at that. There he is, the Dragon Slayer himself. Look at him slaying that dragon. Hey, by the way, do you have a picture of Mitchell Gunner? I know you do.
Lord.
Yeah, look at it. Whoa! There he is! Mitchell Gunner! Back in 1974. Look at him. He's a spitting image of David Cassidy.
I was about to say.
Oh, a spitting image. And you have one of, I think close. What about a Byron Bagwell, Dave?
Oh, Lord
you have
God.
one? Oh, there he is. Mr. Bagwell with a man bun. Take a look at that. How about that? Well, we can probably all.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Stick in front of me, Dave. Let's see what happens there.
What's that?
Stick it in front of me, but let's see what happens there.
Yeah.
Thank goodness you're not going to do that. All right. Oh, man, look at there.
No, actually, I thought maybe y'all were going to put up a picture of Kevin Bacon because a lot of people say I kind of look like Kevin.
Well, you do. We just couldn't find.
Like
Yeah,
Bacon.
you do. But I thought the David Cassidy thing was funny. Tonight, sponsored by On the Spot Lawn Maintenance. Let the red, white, and blue take care of your green. You can call me at 904-966-1633. And by Harry Business in the Deerfoot Plaza, home of the $10 haircut. Let's get the show started as we always do with our prayer, our pledge, and our quote of the week. And I'm sure you have one, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely you do. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us thanks again for a wonderful and glorious day you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for this time that we can spend with the On the Spot team, the On the Spot crew, as we bring you information that is concerning maybe to our viewers, whoever's watching, dear Lord. Let them take that information and take it as they wish and use it as they need be, dear Lord. I want to thank you for our wonderful guest that we have tonight, Mr. Bill Murray, as he's going to join us tonight, dear Lord. You keep a hedge of protection over him and his family and everything that he does. Thank you for a wonderful and glorious day. Thank you for letting us live in the greatest country in the world today, the United States of America. The most freest, the most powerful country in the world today, dear Lord. That's the United States of America. Keep your hands over it, dear Lord, and turn this nation back around as it needs to be. And that is believing in you, the Almighty God, and the Trinity, dear Lord. Thank you. Again, thank you for our great armed forces, each and every one of them, the men and women that has fought and served before, all those that have given the ultimate sacrifice, and that's their lives, dear Lord. Thank you for all the young men and women serving in today's military, dear Lord, as they're out there fighting for our freedoms and our rights and keeping the protection over us, dear Lord, against international terrorism and also domestic terrorism, dear Lord. Please bring them back safely to their families. Also, keep a hedge of protection over our first responders. Bless each and every one of them as they're working diligently each and every day and night, dear Lord, so we can rest peacefully at night, knowing that the safety of our homes and our families and ourselves are guaranteed because of these hard-working men and women. Thank you for the greatest working force in the world today, dear Lord. That's the American people, our farmers, our truck drivers, anybody that's on the front lines that supply goods, supplies, and everything else, dear Lord, for us to be able to survive each and every day. Anybody with a spoken or unspoken prayer request, dear Lord, that you touch each and every one of them. And you know what they need, dear Lord. You know you're the ultimate healer, the ultimate comforter. Just touch each and every one of them, dear Lord. Thank you for the food that we receive each and every day, that it goes into the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to thy service. Again, thank you again for letting us come together, the brotherhood, dear Lord, as we like to know it by. Touch each and every one of us, touch each and every one of our viewers, and please keep doing the things that you do for us each and every day, dear Lord. Thank you for today. Thank you for the upcoming week. And we ask for these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. And the congregation says,
Amen.
Amen. All right, let us stand. And I'm going to ask Mitchell Gunner to lead us in the pledge.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
David Cassidy.
I'll sign autographs after the show.
I'm sure you will. There's a plenty of them on here for you, the people that will, I'm sure, want your autograph. But make sure you wear those cut-off shorts.
I will be signing them, autographs, down at the Jeep show this weekend.
Is that right? Make sure you wear those pair of shorts. Byron, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, give me just one.
Okay,
second. My
well,
phone
we're
is
waiting for you
crazy.
to give us a special quote of the week. We've got a special guest tonight. We want to keep going, keep the show flowing. We've got a great crowd here tonight, and we're going to keep doing our things that we normally do. We've got the trivia answer coming up. We've got the what's the date question coming up. By the way, who was last month's winner? Edward Petterpin. He got the $25 gift certificate from the Downtown Grill. He's going to take his lovely wife, the model, out, I'm sure, with that gift certificate, unless he invites you, Mitchell. He may invite you.
Never know.
You never know. That's true, especially after seeing you in those pair of shorts. But anyway.
You know what I would eat if I got invited, right?
What's that?
A salad. I got to lose some weight.
Okay. Byron, you have a patriotic quote of the week.
Yes, I do. The American Republic will only endure until the day Congress discovers that it can bribe the public with the public's money.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
The American Republic will endure until the day Congress discovers that it can bribe the public with the public's money.
Jim and Eddie.
Sounds like what happened in 2020.
Sound like what's been going on for quite a long time.
Is that, can I ask, and is it a founding father?
No, it is not.
It is not. Okay. Anybody? Man, that's a good one on me today. Bill, anybody?
The first name that pops out to me is Ted Cruz.
No.
Could
you repeat it?
He said, could you repeat it?
Long before Ted Cruz. Okay. The American Republic will endure until the day Congress discovers that it can bribe the public with the public's money.
Oh, that's got to be Reagan.
Long before Reagan.
Oh, well, Reagan's grandfather.
Truman. A little bit after the French Revolution, and I believe one of our founding fathers knew this gentleman pretty well.
I have no guess. I have no guess here.
Alexis de Tocqueville is the guy's name. He was a French political theorist.
So he knew Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah.
They teach that in history.
It is. Yeah, do you know that name? You may want to write that down. De Tocqueville.
De Tocqueville?
Yeah.
Alexis de Tocqueville? Yes.
Yeah.
No, he's...
All right.
Yeah.
Well, good job anyway, Byron. You stumped me this time. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we've got an action-packed show. We've got a very special guest with us tonight. Hey, you know who it is?
It's Bill Murray.
How do you know that?
Because he was in Stripes.
Yeah, he
was in
likes-
Caddyshack.
He loves playing golf. He was
Yes,
in
he does.
Zombieland.
He was in Zombieland.
Oh, I forgot about him being in
Yeah.
Zombieland.
So, hey, man, everybody's going to get a chance to beat Bill Murray.
The original
You know what else?
Ghostbuster.
You know what else?
What?
Bill Murray is actually running for Starke Chief of Police.
Yeah.
Oh,
How about that?
That's a different.
No, it's the same guy, I promise you.
You sure?
Yeah, I'll show you.
We'll see.
Hey, don't go anywhere because the 360 starts right now. This is the 360, your news and weather update. It's 360 degrees and 360 seconds. Brought to you tonight by Harry Business in the Deerfoot Plaza, home of the $10 haircut. Call Dave Holland and Company at 904-964-3338. Let's start as we begin in Gainesville, Florida, where police are investigating 2 shootings within 24 hours in East Gainesville. In total, 7 people were shot and 1 person died in the 2 shooting incidents. Wow. The first happened on Northeast 8th Avenue off Waldo Road, and the second in the Lincoln Estates neighborhood in Southeast Gainesville. There are no known suspects in custody at this time, but 1 person was arrested earlier today after driving through the Southeast crime scene in possession of a gun. Anyone with information, call the GPD Detectives Tip Line at 352-393-7700. You can also anonymously call Alachua County Crime Stoppers at 352-372-7867. And Byron, you can
Remain anonymous.
There you go. A reminder that Boots and Badges Charity Basketball Tournament is returning to Lake City this month. It will be held Saturday, July 31st, 2021 at 3 p.m. at Lake City Middle School, 843 Southwest Arlington Boulevard in Lake City. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office, Lake City Fire Department, and Columbia County Fire Rescue will battle it out for charity. Admission is $5 and children under 5 are free. Details are available on the Columbia County Sheriff's Office Facebook page. Finally, Sheriff's Office all over North Florida are seeking and recruiting for 911 operators and dispatchers. Communication officers are the voices behind the scenes of every emergency call and are vital to our community. Both Putnam County and Bradford County are actively hiring communication officers, and you can learn more about these opportunities by visiting their respective Facebook pages or websites for more information. That's the latest news from around the region. Now, here's coming up your weather forecast.
This weather report brought to you by Austin's Weather Service out of Keystone Heights. Find Austin's Weather Service on Facebook and have a detailed local forecast sent right to you.
Hey, and good evening, Dave and company. I wanted to stop in real quick and give you guys the latest on the weather. We're going to start with the Pollen Report. Look at today's numbers, 0.7. I know everybody was enjoying that, but the numbers will be on the increase as we go through the rest of this week, topping out around 3.1 on Thursday before the numbers drop off again. Reason for that, more rain in the forecast, but some dry conditions moving in on the weekend. How dry? Well, let's go into it, and I'll show you what we're talking about. Taking a look at the regional forecast, you can see that we are actually going to have decent conditions around a lot of the southeast, but we are going to end up having some clouds and storms around the region. Look for decent conditions. Nashville at 90, Atlanta at 83, Charlotte at 89, Pascagoula, your hometown, at 84 degrees with some showers. The hot spot, though, is going to be here in Florida. Orlando looking at 90 degrees, but thunderstorms expected. Locally for us, scattered thunderstorms through the next 48 hours or so, then becoming partly cloudy for Friday into Saturday. Temperatures in the upper 80s, topping out around 90 degrees with lows seasonal in the low to mid 70s. And again, a chance of afternoon thunderstorms. Some could be pretty strong as we move into the next few days.
All right, stay here real quick, Michael. I do want to ask you about something. I know we didn't get into it. We got a lot of things going on. Give us a little bit about the tropics. Any storms on the uprising?
Good news with the tropics is thanks to the Saharan desert, there's a large dust plume that's blowing across the Atlantic Ocean. That's the reason why we've had a complete suppression of tropical activity, and it'll stay that way for probably the next 8 to 10 days. We are looking at some development happening potentially as the dust starts to recede a little bit, and we're not seeing a lot of the dust here, but it's really heavy across what we call the intertropical convergence zone, that trough that comes across the Atlantic Ocean heading into the Caribbean Sea. So for the time being, there's no tropical activity in the Atlantic Ocean. The Pacific's another story, though. Several storms out there brewing, nothing threatening land, but we are looking at some decent conditions in the tropics for at least the rest of July.
So Mitchell's uncle better cover up in the Sahara Desert.
Think that would probably be a decent idea.
All right. Well, thank you, Michael, for that great weather report. I'm sure Mitchell will have something to say about that when he gets back in. So, again, thank you for that weather update. Looks like Byron's going to have some scattered showers, as you like to call it. Tell everybody.
It's going to rain.
Yeah, there you go. Now, here is the answer to one of the questions for Thursday night trivia at the Downtown Grill. What we do is we give you the answer here at the Downtown Grill. Better yet, you haven't been. So you've been getting your tail whopped.
Yeah, probably so.
Oh my God, you were so many points behind, and look at him. He's over there dancing his tail off.
First place and the appetizer.
Last week. You got a lot of catching up to you and Mary Salvatore, Mr. and Mrs. Bagwell. I'm just saying.
How much money did he pay you?
We'll talk about that
that's what
later.
I thought.
I see
All right.
$50.
So anyway,
Probably so.
so we generally the topic is, and the answer is, and what we usually do. This is the easiest way to get points, as you couldn't believe. Here, Michael and them snailed it and snagged it and everything else last week. So we give you the answer, but you'll have to listen out for the questions. It could be in categories between round 1 and 5. You just have to listen out for it. And here is the answer for Thursday night team trivia at the Downtown Grill. Here it is. It's Concord. How
It
about
was supposed to
that?
be something different.
Well, it was. And I figured I would leave that one alone for right now.
Okay.
Just, for now. For now.
I got
For now.
I got you.
But I'm going to bring it back. So tonight it's Concord.
And
All right.
boy, do I have a trivia question to give you.
All right, that sounds great. I'll let you give it in a minute. And now everyone's favorite segment that brings back a little history, brought to you by our great media partners, WEAG, Eagle Country 106.3 FM, Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Vellis, my bosses on Tornado Football Friday nights, me and Kevin Howe, as we bring you those Tornado football games. And the Bradford County Telegraph, John Miller, John Ryan and Elizabeth Tillman, Mark Crawford, and of course, Cliff Smelly. Here's what's the date. These are the headlines from the Bradford Telegraph during the 4th week of July. In what year? Starke votes on tax abatement anyway. Patterson pleads to lesser charge. And cute as cupcake. Speaking of cake, we'll talk about that in a minute. Was that
wonderful?
July of 2012, July of 2014, or July of 2016? Interesting. Starke votes on tax abatement anyway. Patterson pleads to lesser charge, and cute as a cupcake. Was that July of 2012, July of 2014, July of 2016? We're going to help you out here. I'll read the first one, Byron.
Sure.
You read the second one, and how about you read the third one? All right. With only the incumbents qualifying for re-election, the City of Starke ballot would only have a referendum that would give the commission the ability to negotiate temporary tax incentives as an enticement for new and growing businesses.
Arrested the previous year for stealing more than $100,000 from her elderly mother, Sherry Dial Patterson pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of second-degree grand theft, avoiding 30 years in prison.
Ooh.
The owner of the cupcakery, Mobile Bakery, Misty Davis, presented cupcake decoration class to kids at the Bradford County Public Library. Davis instructed the young students on how to use pastry bags and explained the difficult ways to apply icing and toppings.
Wow, how about that? Starke votes on tax abatement anyway. Patterson pleads to lesser charge. Cute as a cupcake. Was that July of 2012, July of 2014, July of 2016? Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're anxious and ready for our guest. We're going to continue this conversation for a minute. I want to recognize some people that we have on. Gail Allen and Sherry Van Zandt are on. Raymond Noe is on. Mary Salvatore is on. Shirley Bagwell is on. By the way, Shirley, thank you very much. This is what we call a candy cake. Mm-hmm. It's very nice, very delicious. Michael,
good.
Can you put that closer to the cameras so people can see that just a little bit? Don't take a piece either. All right. Dorothy Starling says, good evening. Benny Jackson's on. Jimmy Sparks from Lake City is on. Deborah Johns is on. Hey, Jimmy, thank you for that. We really appreciate it. Jimmy says, hey, guys, you all do a great job.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
And thank you. We think we do as well. Miss Bagwell is on. Hello, Mom.
Good evening, Mom.
Benny Jackson, Donna Jackson, David Versace from Van Cleve, Mississippi. I was going to throw you off. I thought you was going to say Loosedale. Good evening, Patriots. God bless America. Absolutely. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Oh, that's a good-looking cake. Miss Shirley has been busy again.
Yes,
she has. Janet Rolls on. Shirley Bagwell says that's a candy bar cake. It is a candy bar cake, and we're going to have a piece of that here shortly, Mitchell.
Hey, by that toothpick I just stole, it's going to taste mighty good.
All right, on the count of three, gentlemen, we always do this. 1, 2, 3. Hello, Alvy! Miss Testone is in the house, and I just found out something about Miss Testone. Her son-in-law, we know him, and I can't think of his name. Maybe she'll tell us again. I seen it on her Facebook page. Yeah, Sharon Petterprin, the what?
Mom?
The model. Good evening. I'm looking forward to hearing Bill Murray. Yep, he's going to tell you how he starred in Caddyshack and all those movies. I tell you what, it's going to be a heck of an interview. Mac Johns is on from Union County. Todd Jordan, Randy Brooks, Deborah John Goins is on. Dorothy Starley says, your cake looks delicious, Shirley. And it's going to taste a lot better, Dorothy. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say there. I want Mitchell to look into why the new trash company in Starke, Florida is not picking up our recyclables on Friday. That is twice in 1 month. That comes from the model. You get on that, Mitchell.
I'll call City Hall and find out.
Yeah, and we'll have an answer for Friday. Well,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thanks, guys. For the first time ever, Albie was able to say the pledge. He has tried every week, and he finally did it. Thank you, Jesus. Amen. Wow.
Very cool.
Very cool.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Is that company Waste Management?
See, and that's what I want to know,
City
too.
Starke?
I'll find out.
We'll find all that out. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
definitely.
whoever's got the contract.
So, oh yeah, I know it. We got some others coming up. Shirley Bagwell's still on with us. Let's see, John Gardner from Mississippi, Pascagoula, Mississippi, one of my old classmates. We got a reunion coming up, Byron, September the 25th, 40 year. Whoa, did I say that?
You said it.
I know it, man. You just don't agree with it.
I wasn't going to spill those beans.
40 year. Yeah, can you believe that? It's crazy. And something unique. I don't know if y'all knew this, but I'm going to DJ and MC it. So I'm going to do MC it and DJ my own reunion.
Dave, with your hair, there's no way.
No way. No way.
You may pass as 40.
Thank you, Mitchell. I appreciate that. You get a raise next week. Brenda Ann is on. J.D. Norman.
Stand in his chair, right?
That's right. Randy Scoggins is there. Rat Tillman from Georgia. North Georgia, by the way. So he's in. I'm telling you, we're region. Nationwide, all over the place. Austin's Weather Service says, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, all.
Oh, by the way, Austin says you did a great job on the weather.
All right. I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Yeah. All right. Mark Udi says, are we ready?
Oh, yes, let's do it.
All right, 2016.
Okay.
McGee, Robert McGee says 2014. Miss Testone says 2016. Mr. Probst says 2014. Benny Jackson says, give me 2012.
Okay.
Randy Brooks says 16. Jimmy Sparks says 12. Starling says 14. Mr. Edward Petterprin, our last month's winner, says 16, and he's definitely on.
Okay.
And her son-in-law, I used to work with. Whoa, look at there. You didn't fix these chairs, Dave? I know.
Switched them out.
You switched them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know who did that. That was Mitchell because he knew I was going to put up that David Cassidy picture.
Yeah.
I know that's what happened here. So, anyway, y'all know David Siskin? You know David? You went to school with David, I think.
think so.
You went to school with David.
I think so.
You know David, don't you, Bill? Yeah. I used to work with him out at CMC, SMI Joyce.
Yes.
Yeah, so definitely I know David Siskin. I think he watches the show. The model says 2016, and Raymond No says 2016. Go around the table real quick because we want to get to our special guest tonight. Byron, what do you say?
I'm going to say 2012.
Okay. Bill, what are you going to say?
2016.
Okay. David?
I'm in the dark here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with 2012.
Okay. Michael?
I think our guest might be onto something, but for some
Yeah.
reason I was thinking something a little bit older, so I'm gonna go 14.
You're going to go 14. All right. Mitchell?
I know this one.
Okay.
From two different stories. It's
Okay.
2014.
It is. There's no doubt about
I'm
it.
almost positive.
Okay.
99.8. How about that?
Yeah, go. That's pretty close. All right. Well, Miss Shirley says 16. Raymond No says 16.
Got it.
All right, we're going to close it off right here. Hopefully y'all got in. I know y'all are ready for our guests coming up right here. All right, And the answer is, let's get a drum roll. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Bam! Look at the dog, man. July of 2014. Anybody that said 2014, you will be put into that special, I like to call it pot, but it's not a pot. It's a fire helmet. That thing is this big. I don't know whose dadgum head fit in it, but anyway, it's a big fire helmet. Did you say yes? Did you say yes?
He didn't have to.
No, I didn't have to.
Okay.
Well, that's sort of. Maybe the helmet was actually like an emergency toilet.
You may have to ask the guy that brings it in here. Anyway, y'all will get y'all's name put into that fire helmet, and at the end of the month, we will draw a name, and you will get you're eligible to win a $25 gift certificate from the Downtown Grill. Use it as your leisure. You can use it on trivia night. You can use it on music night now. We start to have music nights down there now, so starting to open it up a little bit. A Saturday night, Tuesday, whatever you want to do, it's up to your discretion. So all you guests at 2014, y'all will be put in that drawing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, well, I tell you what, do we want to go to the round table, Mike?
Let's
Or do we want to go to round table for just a second?
Well, why don't we just move right into it? Why don't we open up the line?
Yeah, let's open up the lines right here.
And then
Yeah.
let him do his thing.
Let him do his thing, and then we'll roll right into
Let's
that.
go
Yeah,
ahead
I
and do
like
that
that.
right
So the phone line is now open, just for a few minutes only, ladies and gentlemen, until our special guest comes back on. We'll see if our director can bring the phone lines back up. It's coming across your ticker right now, across the screen. That number is what, Byron?
904
Yes, sir.
458
Yes, sir.
7588.
And if the line is busy, Mitchell, you can do what?
Call back or leave a message.
Yep. And what will we do, Byron? We'll read your message on the air, won't we?
Yeah, maybe.
You can also try to call back if you wish, as he said.
Sure.
All right. Phone lines are now open, 904-458-7588. Here's your chance to call. My man's got the phone ready. Here's your chance to ask anything. Hey, if you got a question for Mr. Bill Murray, if you got a question for Byron, if you got a question for Mitchell, if you got a question for me, or the Dragon Slayer, or Dave Holland, whatever it is, hey, phone it in right now. Like these guys were saying, you can send a message. You can do whatever it is that you need to get a hold of us with, and I promise you, we will get your question on the air. And if we can't answer it, Byron, what do we always do?
We will get back to you.
That's exactly right, however that may be. Lydia Morris is on, and she did say she was a little late. She said her mom called, but she did put 2014. Do we put her in?
Sure.
Sure, why not? She said, I just made it back. My mom called me. Okay, that's all right. And Renee Griffiths is watching. How about that? Hello, Renee. All right.
Yeah, we got a couple other people. Melba Johnson
Oh, do you?
is
Okay.
watching.
All right.
Sam Sheila Allstott is watching.
All right.
Kyle Jackson's watching.
Really?
Jimmy Smith is watching.
Jimmy Smith, yeah. I said, yeah.
And I think you said Ty Jordan and Anthony Black, didn't you?
I didn't say Mr. Black, but I did say Mr. Ty Jordan.
Anthony Black is watching too.
All right, from Tallahassee.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the home of the nose.
God's country.
God's country.
That's right.
You agree with that?
No, I do that.
You agree with that? No. You agree with that? No. You agree with that?
That's Free Shoes University that's up there, right?
Oh, gee.
Yes, it is. Hey, no, it is. It is.
That's where
When
the
the great football players all get together and they give back to the community with shoes. They donate shoes to the community.
with crab legs.
I didn't say nothing about crab legs now. No, that's what's for dinner after we give away those shoes.
Mitchell's hungry.
Yeah.
You know what he did after he won the national title was perfect.
Well,
Didn't you see? Didn't you see that? I thought that was great.
I thought that was wonderful.
On Instagram.
Hey,
On
what-
Instagram.
A big old crab leg dinner after he won the national title.
Hey, I got a question. Mr. Murray came up with a great idea.
Okay.
Can you remember what year they got caught stealing tennis shoes?
Oh, geez.
Or in the crab legs?
The crab legs was 2012, right? I believe. Was it the national championship? Because they won the national championship in 2013. I want to say it was 2012.
It was the year before.
So I know the crab legs, and I think Free Shoes University was 1998.
It was.
Yeah.
Peter Warwick and then was involved.
Yeah.
Remember because they won the championship in '99. So yeah, how about that, huh?
Whoa.
Right on it, wasn't it?
Man.
Right on it. All right.
That just goes to show you know the good history and the bad.
That's exactly right. And you know, if you ask me something about Florida's history, I'll know about that too. How about that? How about the boys when they was all those credit cards and all that mess? We won't bring that up though.
Or how about with the one quarterback that was chomping on?
We can talk about that. Yes,
there was some sort of
we can talk about that.
All right, hold on. I'm going to throw one out at you.
All right.
Real quick, and I know we got a lot to do here like that, but since you opened the door.
Of course, I'll open the door.
Here we go.
Pandora's box, as you like to call it.
How about tight ends that end up in prison?
Well, we deal with that later. Brad Culpepper played for the University of Florida.
Yep.
What reality TV show was he and his wife featured on?
I know this. I do know this.
She was on twice. He joined her the second time.
It was on the ID channel.
Survivor.
It was Survivor.
Very Survivor.
Hold on.
Yeah, no.
There wasn't something on the ID channel.
No, that's Mr. Hernandez.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I said we'll get to that later.
Okay.
No, it was Survivor.
That's correct. It was Survivor.
Yeah.
Yes, very
And
good.
that was after his Gator years. That's when he was playing for New England.
That's right.
Well, anyway. All right, no calls?
Not yet, but hey, night's still young and we got a lot to go with.
All right. Well, let's jump into the latest around our community with Mitchell, David, Cassidy, Gunner. Here's what's the scoop.
Community happenings and topics with our own local voice on current events, Mr. Mitchell Gunter.
Officers with the Starke Police Department responded to Walmart in reference to a person threatening employees this morning. The 29-year-old Curtis Aaron Schumann decided that he wanted some items, however, he did not want to pay for them. When confronted by Walmart employees, Schumann threatened them and approached them with a clenched fist in an attempt to deter them from doing their job. He was arrested by the Starke Police Department.
Yeah, it was, and I think he learned his lesson.
And guess what? he was methed up because they had caught him with methamphetamines.
Oh, really?
When he was arrested.
That answers that question.
Yeah. This Saturday, July the 24th, the Starke Show and Shine Jeep Cruise-In will happen on Call Street at 6 p.m. So if you have a Jeep, bring it out and have a great time. And remember, duck, duck, Jeep.
That's right.
And go ahead and explain that again. If you are another Jeep enthusiast, as like Michael is.
Absolutely. For those that don't know, 8 Ball is my Jeep. It's a 97 Wrangler TJ, and I'm part of a Jeep club from around the state as well as around the country. There's all sorts of Jeep clubs. This Saturday, starting around 6 p.m., we have blocked off Call Street from 301 all the way past, all the way to Veterans Memorial. For a lineup of Jeeps coming in. We call it a show and shine, but basically it's just an opportunity for people to come out and show off their Jeeps. They've got sound systems, their lighting packages, the whole makeup of the thing, and the idea is for everyone to get together and just have a good time with Jeeps. The downtown is going to be, the restaurants are going to be open. We're going to have live music from probably one of the self-proclaimed best DJs in the world. Boogie Nights DJ service will be broadcasting live from the scene as well. On the spot, we'll probably be doing a little something from there as well. Again, it's from 6 until 8 or 9 p.m. Show goes until 10 if you want to stay out and see all the lights and all the accessories put out there. But that will be downtown starting this Saturday at 6 p.m.
Hey, Mitchell, before you finish that other story, Miss Pettiprin says, Mitchell, our new trash pickup company is out of Gainesville. I think the truck says GMA.
All right, we'll double check.
Yeah,
We'll
double check that.
get all that checked out for you. I'll give a call to City Hall and see if they can shed some light on it,
That'd be
what's
great.
going on with it. Starting on Saturday, July the 31st through August the 9th marks the back-to-school sales tax holiday. So
Nice.
it gives you the opportunity to go out and buy items that your kids need for school, and you don't have to pay no tax on it. So a great opportunity to try to save some money. School will be starting back in 4 weeks, If you need to get your child registered for school, you can make a visit to your child's school from the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you have any questions about needed documents, you can contact that school for more information. The summer feeding program will end on July the 22nd. That is this Thursday. So just to give you a reminder, you cannot go and pick up any food from the school in this program after that Thursday. There will be a special commission meeting on Friday, July the 23rd at 5 p.m. to interview the city manager candidates and decide how to proceed. The meeting will be at the City Hall at 209 North Thompson Street. Public participation is permitted and encouraged.
Good. All right.
So I also want to mention a couple other things.
Okay.
This past week, our Sheriff Gordon Smith went out to Texas to the border with our Representative Kat Kamek to look at the border crisis. You know, and this crisis is not just about illegal aliens coming into the United States not being documented, but also it is a flow of drugs being smuggled in here every single day. And Kat Kamek said that they had stopped a certain amount of flow of drugs that could kill every citizen in the state of Florida 9 times over. That drug is known as fentanyl.
Right.
But, you know, fentanyl is not the only drug that's coming across that border.
No.
So it's a very scary situation for our country and for our state. Ron DeSantis was out there as well. And they found out a lot of these illegal aliens coming across. In that one particular area that he was visiting, 70% of them said that they were coming to Florida.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We do not need that in the state. And if some people watch my profile on Facebook, you know, the one thing is, you know, we've got certain things set up to help our own citizens, resources and stuff like that. If we are to keep on allowing these illegal aliens to come into our country and to our many states, well, guess what? They're coming here with no clothes, no housing, no way to feed themselves. So those resources are going to be used
sickness, carrying
diseases. Yeah, they're not being vented through.
Right.
And you know that's a major problem. You know, Kat Kamek, she said it correctly. She says every state, every town in the United States is a border town, which is very correct.
But she's right, because what they're doing is they're using our military to ship these people to different places off the border.
Right.
All over this country.
And unfortunately, guess where most of them are going? They're moving them in to red states.
Sure they are.
Republican states.
Sure they are.
You know, I don't have no problem per se of anybody trying to come to the United States.
We've said that here. Right.
But there's a correct way of doing it. You apply, you get your green card, you come in here, you work, you pay your tax dollars while you work for your citizenship.
Yeah.
Then you become a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
It is not fair to those men and women who have came across the correct way and worked their way to get their citizenship as of today to just allow people to come in to the country and not go through that same process. It's like a slap in the face. But with that being said, people who want to leave Cuba to come to the United States, they're telling them no, but we got the southern border wide open for anybody to come in here. It does not make sense, but the reason why they're doing this is because, believe it or not, the Cuban people who come here to the United States and they apply for their citizenship, they are 90%
Republicans.
Will vote Republican. So now they cannot come in here. It is a sad situation for our country.
Yes, it
This
is.
is not the way we're supposed to do and protect our borders. And I tell you, like you said, there's no telling what other diseases might be coming in from these other countries. And everybody says, well, you might just not want the Mexican people coming in here. It's not just the Mexican people. There's people from Pakistan, India, China, Russia.
They're mixing them in these groups. It's a smorgasbord of groups that you can't tell. You think they're all Byron Mexican, and that's not true.
No, they're not. Well, no, they're not all Mexican, and they're not all Hispanic. They're not just coming from Guatemala and you know, wherever else in Central and South America.
Right.
They're actually coming from all over the world. And I wanted to say one thing about this. I don't know how anybody that's in law enforcement, this does not drive insane. Because the bottom line to this is real simple. These people, you call them illegal aliens, they get upset with it. They're really not illegal aliens. That's really a misnomer. What they are is criminals. They are breaking our laws to come here. And there's a certain segment of our politicians that are aiding and abetting them in doing this, which is also a violation of our laws. If you want these people to come like they're coming, then you say you want them here like this, and you change our laws. Because guess what? Our Congress writes our laws. That's how our system is set up.
Because they do the will of the people.
They do the will of the people.
Mm-hmm. Or they supposed to do the will of the people.
But they're not. They're breaking our laws, and they're breaking their oath to our government when they let people in like this and support this. Is what they're doing.
Well, one thing that I would like to see our governor do, if you think back when our governor, Ron DeSantis, started opening back up the state of Florida and putting people back to work and stuff.
Right.
Biden's administration said, well, we want to close the border to the bordering states to the state of Florida. Well, you know what the governor ought to do? Close the border to illegal aliens coming into the state.
Activate the National Guard.
Put the National Guard.
National Guard.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if they bring it in here by military on military base,
stop them.
Put the National Guard out there by the military base.
All right. Let's jump right into it, Mitchell. That was a great segment. Hey, I tell you what, we still haven't even brought our guest on the neck. That was a great topic, and we could discuss that, gentlemen, all night. You know how we are with that thing. But we have a special guest tonight.
That's right.
Hey, does he have his golf clubs with him?
He probably does.
Mitchell, read that.
And, one more thing before I say that.
Oh, boy.
I'll let everybody know that there was a county commissioner meeting.
Yes.
Last Thursday.
Yeah.
I will try my best by next Thursday to have the budgets for every department, and we'll go over that information.
That sounds great.
And that is the scoop for tonight. I'm Mitchell Gunter, and we'll be right back after this message.
Hey Tornado fans, this is Kurt Miracle of Miracle Automotive and Towing, proud sponsors of Tornado Football. I want to welcome you to beautiful Starke, Florida at David Hurst Stadium, and thank you for letting us be a part of this community. We're here for more than your automotive and towing needs. We're here to be part of Tornado Country. Go Big Red!
All right, man. I tell you what, it's been a great show so far. Good. Well, there he is. Hey, where's your golf clubs?
They're out there in my car.
They're out there in your car. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, the star of Caddyshack. What else?
Zombieland.
Zombieland. What else?
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. We can name a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. He is going to run for Starke Chief of Police, the one and only Bill Murray. Say hello, Bill.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
Hey. It's Donald Stevens says it's a criminal invasion. Oh, he ain't talking about us. I know what he's talking about.
That's exactly what it is.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Glad to have you on the spot with David Rodgers. Got like I said, we've already had an action-packed show with everything else that we've talked about. Now we've got one of the candidates that's trying to obtain the seat of Starke Chief of Police. And again, here he is, Mr. Bill Murray. Again, welcome in, Bill. I want to start. Let's get familiar with our audience here. I want you to tell people about yourself. Just give just a little bit of background about yourself, where you're from, how you know what you got going on up until running for the chief of police.
All right. I was originally born and raised in Miami, Florida. I moved here in 1970. Moved to Bradford County in 1979 we have some family that was up here. I've been coming back and forth to Bradford County and Starke for all my life, but we officially moved up here in 1979. I was 15 years old, at that time. I went into the military in the National Guard here in '83, where I was part-time with National Guard. Then I got a full-time AGR position with them, which was just like active Army. So I did that, and then I started my law enforcement career with the city of Starke in 1991, and then moved to the sheriff's office in 2009 when Gordon got elected.
Gotcha. Are you a Bradford Tornado?
Of course.
Of course, he said.
Of course.
So graduated from Bradford High?
Well, graduated from Bradford, from the VOTEC.
From the VOTEC, yeah. Right. Okay, so, all right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, got Bill Murray, candidate for Star Chief of Police. As y'all all know now, he's running against Jeff Johnson, who has the seat right now. This is your chance to ask questions for Bill. We will be monitoring those questions. Mr. Mitchell Gunner, Mr. Byron Bagwell will be helping us out with that. We've got the phone lines that are open too. You can ask it over the air. How about that? Right. That's 904-458-7588. If the line is busy, you can leave a message and we will read your message on the air. Yep. You can also try to call back if you wish, but the phone line's wide open. Michael's looking for that first phone call. Bill, just the generic question here. What made you decide to run for Starke Chief of Police?
Well, law enforcement has been in my family for years. I've always wanted to be. I've always wanted to lead a department. When I came to Starke, just let everybody know out there that all my law enforcement career has been right here inside Bradford and Starke. I've never been anywhere else. Had no intentions of going anywhere else. I love our county. I love our city. To get back to the question, I've always wanted to lead a department, and I think I've always wanted to be a good chief or a good sheriff. I've had several people over the years have asked me, why don't you run? Why don't you run? Why don't you run? Mm-hmm. And like my candidate, the chief, Chief Johnson, me and him have been in law enforcement for years together. We're friends, and just thought, I stayed out of it for a couple of times of the running when he ran, and just decided that that this time that I was going to go ahead and do it because I feel we need to change. So. Right,
and something in your heart told you it's probably time. This is the time right here, right?
This was the time to do it. I talked about it with my pastor, some of the deacons at the church. Right. I prayed about it, and I think I got some pretty good readings from our Lord and Savior, and right. to do this, and so that's what I made my decision to run.
All right, Byron, do you have a question for the chief at this point right now?
You've hit one of them already.
You have hit one of them? Okay. What's that? Okay. Mitchell, do you have one?
Yes, I do. If elected, I know we have a issue, not just in the county, but also in the city of Starke, dealing with all-terrain vehicles, driving on the highway. Would that be something that you would like to see law enforcement to force more on and get those vehicles off the regular streets where cars and trucks go every day, try to cut down on car accidents? And like I said, it's not just a city problem, it's a county problem, it's a state problem.
Exactly.
And it makes for a very dangerous situation. I know from family members getting killed on the four-wheeler, and so it's one thing I like to be done. There's a time and place for fun like that, for them to be used, and on the regular highway it's not that time or place.
You're exactly right, especially not in the city limits of a municipality where there's we got a ton of cars come through here. There's really nowhere in the city to ride an all-terrain vehicle, so there's no reason for them to be on the road. And also there's state laws for them not to be on the vehicle on the roadway as well.
Well, and I'll look at it this way: if we got side-by-sides out there and they got lighting and they can retain a certain mile per hour, and people's going to put them on the street, state needs to pass a law to go ahead and let them go on the street if they got the right DOT accessories on their vehicle, and go ahead and make them put tags on it.
Exactly, I agree with you 100%. I mean, if anything's going to be on the roadway, then it needs to abide by our state laws as well. And not only that, we need to, our service out here is to protect life,
Right.
as well as to serve and protect. We need to save lives out here as well. So, and that's another good reason why we need to get them off the roadway.
Right.
What changed the start need, in your opinion? I come from one of the viewers.
In my opinion, well, for one, I'll be a working chief. I don't want to be one of the ones that sit behind the desk all the time. I want to get out. I love to get out and talk to people all the time. So,
Right.
And not only that, I love to work. I love to work, to work the road, and I love to communicate with the people and work with them and try to solve their issues as well. There's
I'm sure there's some agendas and some stuff that you wanna tackle when you get in there, and I know it's probably been in coming to you for I guess you probably decided the last couple of years that you wanted to run for this, so I'm sure there's some agendas.
I want to bring the community policing back. I think the officers, including myself, all need to be held accountable for things that go on within the city that I just don't think that right now are being done the way it should be done. So
right.
And it's nothing, and I'm not saying this to be saying anything bad about Chief Johnson by no means, because we're friends.
Right.
Just that, the way I see this, his view of things are different than my view of things.
Right.
And
good point.
And I think that that the department could be ran better than what it's being run now.
Right. Good call. Good answer. Michael, do you have a question for the
Yeah, actually, I do. So you hit on it with community policing. National crime statistics show, both in the state of Florida and nationally, that we are seeing an overall decrease in crime over the last few years, but there's been an uptick in violent crime. The city of Starke has experienced its share of violent crime over the last couple of years. Several homicides that have occurred, Washington Street, Reno area specifically, and that sort of thing like that. Touching on the community policing aspect, what is one of maybe a vision that you have and one of your goals to try to incorporate your community policing ideas to be embraced by the citizens?
Well, yeah, real good question. I for one, there's a lot of changes and things that I want to do. For instance, in the Reno area, I want to put a full-time officer down there, which is where he would stay the whole time. That is being one. I want that to be done so especially so the people have have somebody that they can relate to. Whoever's in that area, whoever's assigned to that area, and I want them to be able to communicate with those individuals that work that area. And I also, there's other things like I don't want to see I want to see more stuff out in the community instead of looking at one spot, which is 301. And I want all of I want all the citizens to be involved in it, and all of the police, and I want them to be able to, come out, let us know what's going on, call us, stop. I want them to start knowing these officers, know who's serving you, so they can be, so we can talk one-on-one. They can
build good relationships with the community.
Exactly. So.
Byron, read off that number for everybody if they want to talk to Bill.
The phone line is now open. It is 904-458-7588. If the line is busy, you can leave a message, and we will read your message on the air. You can also try to call back if you wish.
There you go. Do you have a question for the chief?
No, Bill, I know that we've talked a little bit about what you were going to do with the actual police officers in the community and getting them to know different people. Part of my understanding of the increase in the violent crimes is due to drugs. Is there anything specific that you would have in mind to actually solve some of the drug problems that the community has?
Well, one of the things that I have wanted to do was bring back where the city and the sheriff's office work together in the narcotics.
Okay.
Where they used to be at one time where the sheriff's office had, the sheriff's office, you had Starke Police Department, you had Lawdy, you even had Union County involved, where they were all one team,
Right.
and they all worked together, in all of these areas, and I want to see that, I want to get with Sheriff Smith, and if elected, I want to get with Sheriff Smith and see if we can't get that back. I think that would do not only the citizens in Starke, but also Bradford, Union, Lawdy. I just think it'd be a great thing for everybody.
Open the lines of communication.
Yes.
Yeah, that would definitely work.
Is there probably an opportunity that you can implement a buy back drugs campaign, that you would let people drop off drugs to y'all that are illegal? They would not face a penalty
Without repercussion.
They just bring it to you. I know they do that a lot in the bigger towns and stuff in the state of Florida. They do it in Gainesville. They do it in Jacksonville. They also have the buyback guns that could possibly have been stolen or been used in a crime. When no questions asked, bring that back in so we can get the guns out of the hands of the bad people that's not supposed to have them,
right.
and keep them in the hands of the good people.
Most definitely. Yeah, that's that needs to be done. Things like that, that ideas, even from the people in the community. I mean, we, all of us law enforcement need ideas. We can't think of everything. We need help from the outside community.
Well, being a small rural town, we do have to work together as a community because our town and our county doesn't have the resources like they do in bigger counties like Duval, Alachua, and Marion. And I'll tell you, I think some of those other counties and cities would be like, come talk to us. We will show you what we have been doing and what has been working. Use that reaching out and,
most definitely.
And get information.
I had also thought of that as well. Was reaching out to some of these other bigger departments and asking them their ideas of things that they did. So, yeah.
Dave, you have a question for Mr.
Bill
Bill Murray?
but not right now.
Okay. All right, Mike.
So, Bill, another question that ties into my previous question on that one is that the age of a lot of those involved in violent crime has been teenagers, early mid-20s. The strong arm attempt today at Walmart, an example of a gentleman in his 20s, and the drugs being a concern. But I think age has a lot to do with it as well. Is there any plans that you have contemplated or that you're working towards that would target youth education and interventions for the city? And how would you like to see the more involvement in the youth of the community to not only kind of deter them from a life of crime, but perhaps use that as a recruiting tool to bring somebody up into a law enforcement mindset?
Right. And I'm glad you asked that because I've had several people in my camp, since I've been out campaigning, that's asked me what I was going to do for, would there be anything that I would do for the younger community? And of course, I want to bring it back. I want to bring whatever programs that are available that we can, to not just to kids in the city, but as well, surrounding counties. Like I know that. I know there has to be, grants out there that could help us, that could help our community bring stuff in here to help get these kids, get their mindset on other things to do besides watching other people do what they're doing as far as like selling drugs, fighting, and stuff like that. I also want to bring back this thing that Sheriff Smith did way back in the day when we worked for the city. I say way back in the day. It was quite a few years ago, and we called it Mad Dads. And it's where us fathers, got together, and we walked these streets in different parts of the city, and started talking to these young kids, trying to get their mind where it needs to be instead of instead of not selling drugs and and doing armed robberies and stuff like that. And also the good thing about it back then is we had some people that lived that life, that come out and shared their testimony with these kids, which I thought was phenomenal. Which and I do have if elected, I do have a few people that has lived that life, that don't live that life anymore. That live actually a real good life now, that has that testimony, would love to share with the younger community.
You got one now?
I think so.
Okay.
There's a lot of eyes on cops making big mistakes. And if you're chief of police, we got a lot of new guys that are in a department that you're not familiar with. And if you win, there's going to be some new guys coming in afterwards. How are you going to handle the hiring process and background checks on these guys to make sure you get a good officer?
Well, everybody will be evaluated. If I'm elected, I'm going to go back in there and I'm going to evaluate everybody. I mean, I'm just not going to go in there and take their word for what they say. I want to go back and look at their background. I want to see where they're at in law enforcement. That way, if they need to be retrained, then we'll retrain them. Yeah. I think there, from what I have seen, that there's a few of them that need to be retrained. Not saying that all of them are bad.
No.
I just say that some of them believe need to be retrained. Some of them, I don't know, but like I said, like you say, there's a lot of new ones there. So
yeah,
some of them I don't even know who they are. But from what I see, just some of them need to be properly trained, and that's one of my biggest things. One of my biggest things is making sure that everybody's properly trained and can speak to citizens professionally, not trying to be overbearing.
Yeah, this question actually comes from one of the viewers.
Okay.
How do you feel about consolidating with a county?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I'm running for city for the chief of police. So, how do I feel about it right now? I mean, trying to get away with my position, but
that's sort of where when people talk and have these ideas about consolidating,
consolidation has been out there for years.
Yes.
I mean, it even goes back as far as when I worked for the city.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, consolidation's been out there for years, but I mean, I think that it'll all have to be voted on, I believe, from all the people, from all the people in the city, as to whether or not they want that. Now, from what I have heard in the past, is that consolidation, some people are for it. A lot of people are not for it, for the fact they're scared of the response time if we all go to the, if everybody comes under Sheriff Smith. But I mean, as somebody who's worked for Sheriff Smith, I mean, I know that wouldn't take place, but I mean, because he would have programs where
you start talking about logistic problems is what you start talking about when you consolidate.
Right, and there's another concern with this as well. It's not just a matter of a vote of city residents and the county residents, sort of that. There has to be an amendment to the city charter. The city charter specifically says that the chief of police, or in the charter it's referred to as the constable, that is an assigned position. So even if there was consolidation, there would still be a city police chief to oversee municipal law enforcement. That's in the charter. There's a long process that goes into. So the idea of consolidation, the reason why it's been on the table for so long and it's been drug out for years and years and years, is because it is such a political minefield to try and negotiate from an administrative and political standpoint. personalities notwithstanding,
Right.
the process of trying to consolidate a city law enforcement agency with a county agency under the current system that we have for the city of Starke and their charter is problematic, to say the least.
Well, and how about vice versa, Mike? Let me turn that around a little bit. County, same way, right? Don't we have a county charter? Same thing.
Yes, but it's not so much of a county charter. It's the fact that it's state law.
State
law
law
establishes that there will be 67 the head of law enforcement for each county.
Right.
66 of them, of course, are elected. One is appointed by that's Miami-Dade.
Right.
But with that being said, if the sheriff said, "Oh, well, we're going to become one municipal law enforcement agency under, say, the city of Starke or a municipality," the state would be like, the governor would be like, "No." So it would be even murkier waters to try to negotiate and navigate with that situation. Going from a city municipality into a corporate government agency of law enforcement at the county level is a little bit easier, but still very difficult to attempt to pursue.
What I'd like to say about that is, if it's not broken, you don't fix it.
Right.
See, and there may be some people who think there are some things that are broken with the way the city or the county functions, and different people are going to have different opinions about that. But the system itself works.
If you
And
don't
it's
like,
worked everywhere in
if
this
you-
state for hundreds of years.
And if you don't like the way that the system is working, there's a reason why you elect a sheriff. That's why you elect the police chief.
Right.
Your vote is the driving force
Exactly
for community protection.
Exactly
That's right. That's right.
Go ahead.
Actually, to mention what Michael said earlier, about targeting these young teens and early 20s, one of the things I would like to see out of our police department and also a sheriff's department, I don't think it's been going on. I would like to see involvement in the school system where y'all have an opportunity to talk to each of the class, the freshman class, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, about law enforcement, about the law, to try to put them on that right path. And I looked down and I seen something about truancy, which is also a very big problem in a rural area like Bradford. And that kind of needs to be dealt with very harshly. I hate to say it but it needs to be dealt with very harshly.
Well, I think what happens is on the truancy thing, we let it get out of hand before we before we jump on the problem.
But we
all of a sudden, there's a kid, you see a pattern, miss 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, and we let it get to 20, 25, 30 days, and now we're trying to handle the problem when we could have handled it at the earlier stage.
Well, and a lot of that is on the state, because the State Board of Education has guidelines set up of how many days that child has to miss before there's a truancy issue. And I think they let it see too far themselves.
Correct.
And that needs to be fixed at the Board of Education for the state of Florida. So that way our local law enforcement can do their jobs, go out and question the adults of why this child is missing so much school. Because, that child missing instructions every day gets into a routine that will lead them down a road, because they're not getting educated.
Exactly right.
They're not going to make the money that they should make when they become when they reach adulthood. And that's when you get the problems of young adults wanting to sell drugs still, because they want to feed their habit, because they don't have no money.
Right.
That's all types of things. To me, they all fit together in one big ball. Mm-hmm. And as long as you start reaching out to those kids early in an auditorium and teaching them this thing, and also that helps build better relationships with the kids as they get older, with the community. And I think that's where law enforcement needs to go totally as a nation, to get all the bad stuff that's being shown on the media, because the media hardly ever shows any good stuff.
Well,
it doesn't sell.
Here,
Exactly.
It doesn't sell. Here is one of the big problems. It's not law enforcement's job to teach children what law enforcement's about.
Right, that's right.
There's two groups that are responsible for that. Parents are responsible for that, and our schools are responsible for that.
Yeah.
When a child is taught from an early age that we live in a civil society, in order to maintain that civil society and live in comfort like we all want to live in,
Right.
there has to be laws.
But the only thing is, we have a problem not just here in our community, but in the United States,
Well, it's a national
where
problem,
we've
right?
got parents who don't give a rat's butt where their kids are, as long as they are out of their hair,
Sure.
and they can do what they want to do. They can go out and party. They can do their drugs, and
Can I back that up?
where they're at
Until they get in trouble.
until they get in trouble.
Until they get in trouble.
Exactly.
Now mom and daddy's all up there.
Of course,
You
they're
see-
all up there and they're pointing
Yeah.
the fingers at everybody
Yeah.
else.
Well, they
Yeah.
Yeah, I dealt with that when I
themselves.
was teaching school.
Absolutely.
You know, that happens quite a bit, and the response is really simple. Your child's action is a reflection of how they're being raised at home.
Of their parents' actions.
And,
Exactly.
what ends up happening when you say that as a teacher now is the parents don't want to hear it, the school doesn't want to hear it. They want you to take care of it. Well, see, that's not the definition of a teacher. That is the definition of a parent.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
There has to, in order to solve the problems that this country has, there has to be a cooperation between all of it.
Right.
It can't be just put on law enforcement, because law enforcement is exactly what law enforcement says it is.
Right. Enforces the laws.
It's law enforcement.
Yeah.
You have to learn from somewhere about why there is laws.
Laws.
And why you can't go around doing things like stealing stuff and wanting to punch people in the face in Walmart because they're trying to stop you from stealing stuff.
Right.
And it's just like Mitchell said. If we got out there and
You
started
try to
doing
correct
stuff,
the problem,
Exactly.
because you're not
yeah,
going to
yeah.
correct the problem of the parents today.
No.
But by
No.
talking to these young men and women in
Sure.
high school, if you can start to correct the problem there, you will see less of it in the
In the future.
Well, and I agree with you. I do agree with you. It needs to come from everywhere. But we have to understand. We have to understand what this country is and what we have.
and another thing where you said that the parents get involved once they get in
Right.
trouble.
Right.
The reason that is because then it becomes an expense.
An expense.
Yes, that is
correct.
correct.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I want to read a few comments here.
Sure.
Got several. Dorothy Starling says, question for you, Bill. Do they have to take continuous classes in law enforcement to keep their job? Do they have to have ongoing training?
Yes, they do. They do. They have to have retraining every 4 years. Have to have at least a 40-hour course.
Right.
And but I mean a lot of the law enforcement, a lot of the officers go to these classes all the time. They'll go to the community college in Lake City, or they go to Gainesville and get these courses, which also, I mean, it also gives them more knowledge about their with their jobs and stuff. So.
Good. Lydia Morris, y'all talked about the truancy. She said I heard truancy is a huge problem, and parents don't get but a slap on the wrist and just told to make sure that they're in school. The law is not being enforced. And you sort of hit on that a little bit there. When
It's complicated.
It is
It's
complicated.
and you people want to look at law enforcement, but that's not where some of the systemic stuff.
Correct, it's not.
I don't like using that word because
Yeah.
they painted this
They
word
painted this word and
in a
everything.
different
Yes.
way. The systemic problems that we have is to me is really simple. It's education.
Right.
Because
I agree.
I was taught from the time I was a small child, you don't take other people's stuff.
Right.
You don't do
That's
it.
wrong. It's right or wrong. I mean,
mean,
yeah, and that's what your
you
mom
just
and your
don't.
dad told you.
And I've taken something from somebody one time. I got myself in deep trouble. Matter of fact, I still have it at the house. Dollar bill that my mother caught me taking out of her purse. I have her name on that dollar bill and
For a reminder.
the date that I did that on that dollar bill at the house.
Would
As
you
a
bring that
reminder.
to the show one day?
Yes, will.
Okay.
And
Michael.
how was that butt whipping?
Oh, yeah, by the way. We
Well,
won't talk about that.
We won't have that
Yeah,
discussion.
no, yeah,
because
I figured you
I'm going to
would.
be honest with you. I don't remember much about the butt whooping.
But I do remember that dollar bill. That is something
I imagine.
that will be in my possession until I pass.
You know, we were talking about truancy, and to me, I think starting from national, going down to state, going down to county, somebody sets these truancy dates on how many days you can be late. And I do believe, to me, maybe not to you gentlemen, I think they're exuberant anyway. Can you pull up how many days that you're allowed in Bradford County to miss? Do y'all happen to know that number? I want to say it's like
down by every.
Is it 10?
Weeks. Yeah.
My granddaughter. she
Okay,
made that
so
comment.
it's 10 before you start getting. So you can have up to 10 days that you can miss in a school year without having any note or anything.
But there's the issue.
I know, and I was just getting ready to
so
say
many days per
9 weeks,
or you
and that's
get
where I want to. That's where I want to
Right.
see where he comes up with that.
Right.
Well, and the other thing is what
Yeah.
you're going to find out is that there are special circumstances for all of that. If you have a kid that has medical issues,
Sure,
Yes, that's different.
yeah,
Yes.
but you have back documentation. You have backup for that.
Yes, you do.
We're
Yeah.
just talking about missing totally.
Totally,
And
just-
see, after you miss so many days per that 9 weeks
Weeks period.
period, you get grade lock. It doesn't matter if you make
Right.
straight A's. Those straight A's turns into straight F's.
Sure.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Bill, I'm going to ask you a question here from Donald Stevens. How do you feel about not only open door policy, but regularly having a meeting or public walks, discussions about the problems in Starke? I think you hit on that a little bit.
Yes, I did.
So I know, I believe you're a proponent for that.
I mean, I love open door policy. I mean, if elected, my door at the police department would always be open to anybody. I mean, you're more than welcome to come through at any time to see me. And if I'm not there, I'm just a phone call away. You know, most of everybody I've seen through my campaign has my personal number. You know, if you received a card from me, you have my personal number. And if you don't, please find somebody that does, or find me, and I will get it to you.
Jacob Swagger's got it. He said school resource deputies do that quite often at the middle and high school through what they call the Bradford Coalition teaching Know the Law. Yes.
Which I didn't want to step over anybody's toes, but I thought that it was something that we've been doing here for quite a while at the sheriff's office. So.
Okay, gotcha.
This is the state law.
All right, Byron, why don't you read that? You read the first one and you read the second paragraph.
A student becomes truant when they miss a certain number of days when a specified time and without a valid reason or excuse. Florida considers a habitual truant to be any student of elementary school age through the age of 16 who has accumulated 15 or more unexcused absences in a 3-month period without the knowledge of the parent or the guardian and is subjected to compulsory school attendance.
The difference here is that during the school year, should the student turn 16, the state law then says, okay, you don't have to attend school as a 16-year-old according to statute,
correct,
but you must formally file with the Department of Education saying that as a 16-year-old, I am
not attending.
I can take myself out and do what I need to do.
Right.
If you do not file formally,
this rule goes into effect.
You know why the majority of the kids drop out at 16? Because it started back in their elementary years of not going to school.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe here in the state of Florida, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, I think it also has to do, too, with 16 being a legal consent age, right? Legal age of consent to an extent. To an extent. Let me rephrase that. To an extent.
To an extent. There are certain things that 16-year-olds are allowed to do. There's 18, and then there's 21.
Right.
When it comes to the Florida statutes regarding school attendance,
right,
the Florida statute sets that age at 16.
16.
Now, 16, you would be in the 10th grade.
Maybe going to the 11th grade. Yeah, 10th going to the 11th to be a junior.
So you'd be dropping out.
Sophomore,
or
junior.
in the 10th grade.
Yeah. So, Lydia Morris says, Bill, children do things for attention. We have to pay attention as parents to guide them in the right path.
That's correct. Very, very much so.
Gotta love Miss Bagwell. You know I love you. By the way, do you see this cake, Bill?
Look,
Are you going to have a piece of this before you go?
Certainly.
All right. Hold that up, Byron. Hold that cake up, will you? While I read Mrs. Day. Oh my God, candy. What is it called?
Candy bar.
Candy bar.
You said hold the cake up.
No, wait a minute. No. Bring that back there. She says, gentlemen, it starts before high school. I think that's what you were trying to say.
Definitely. And you have to correct that in the younger years to get on top of it. And those that are already there doing it, there is really no hope. What do they say? You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
So you have to start and educating the next generation of kids going through the school system to get them on the right path. So when they become parents, they will instill those values of what education means,
right,
and how important it is for you to get on with your life.
Byron and to Bill here, Donald Stevens says the big problem is society has become morally corrupt.
What's the problem? You got to figure out what the answer is. And that's complex for anybody.
Yes, it is.
It's complex for politicians. It's complex for law enforcement. It's complex for just about everything. And the real answer is something that we talk about every time of every show.
Yes.
You open that Bible more, and you'll start understanding that not only is there people that are supposed to hold you accountable for your actions at home and your parents, but there's also somebody upstairs that's going to hold you accountable one day.
Exactly right.
Look, man, we all sin. We sin every day, but we ask for forgiveness, and that's one good thing. And I'm not going to get into a Bible session here.
It comes in living.
Yes, it does. Somebody told me, a couple of people told me when we first put this all together, Bill. Somebody says, David, I'm not going to watch the show for the first part of it. I was like, okay, why? He says, because you do the prayer and the pledge. Okay, that's your right. Okay, I have no problem with that. But I'm not going to stop doing the prayer and the pledge because 3 people says they're not going to watch my show.
And I commend you for that.
You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that. We all decided that. We're not cutting.
It goes back to some of the things that y'all were talking about earlier. If they would put God, the pledge, and other things back in school, we probably would have half the problems we have now.
Right. No, and he says that all the time. This guy says that all the time. He says that all the time, and I agree.
Instead of trying to figure out how to take the pledge and God and everything else out of the.
And I got a tough one for you after this.
All right, Raymond. No, you know Raymond, don't you? You know Raymond.
I think so.
Over at the BFW and American Legion does a lot of things there. He says, as far as you know, Bill, is the department sufficiently staffed currently? And if not, what is your plan to hire qualified individuals if you are elected?
As far as I know, it's staffed the way it's supposed to be. I don't know.
Right.
Like I said, earlier, there's a lot of things that I want to change. There's a lot of things I want to do, and I also want to make sure that each of these officers are properly trained and make sure that when we, if I'm elected, I take over, that I'll do a thorough background check on each and every one of them. So.
Right. I want to say hello to my sister Leanne Nelson. She's watching from Boone, North Carolina.
Hello, Leanne.
That's beautiful, God's country up there. We're speaking about God. That's God's country up there. Hello, Leanne. How are you doing? Mm-hmm. What you got, Mitch?
All right, here's the tough one. I don't know if the city of Starke is using body cameras, but what do you think about body cameras? Do you like them? Do you dislike them? I know that's a tough one.
No, it's not a tough one. It's actually very simple. I love the camera.
Right.
The camera tells you everything. Yeah. I've been in law enforcement for a long time, and back in the days where we didn't have any cameras, then it was the people videoing you with the big, with the big cassette thing.
Dave knows about that one. He's got those things.
RCS.
Yeah, RCS.
And now it's the phones and stuff like that. But just to answer your question, to answer their question, yes, the city of Starke does use body cameras.
Okay.
At least the ones I have seen that they have them with them on all the time. So, and I believe their rule is the same as Sheriff Smith is. It's on when you're conducting business. It's on all the time.
Right.
So,
And now I'm for them as well
I am
because
too.
it paints the true picture.
Let me tell you something.
There's no way of getting it around.
Let me tell you something. Just to, not trying to bring up, trying to get off track here, but some of these, there's been a few people that's called and complained on some things that I have done, and the camera justified everything.
Right.
And these people were invited to come and see, to view the video, to see whether or not, if everything was done correctly. And it's always been, I just love them. The camera's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Pictures and video don't lie, do they?
Right.
Just
No, they
like
don't.
you said.
And the good thing about the officers wearing the cameras, because even though someone's filming it from a certain distance, it does not show the whole thing.
Exactly.
That body camera
Shows
shows
it all.
the whole story.
Shows it all. I
So
love
when they
it.
send this to the news media, and it paints one picture, and then that camera video is released later on to the news media, it's okay.
Exactly.
I understand what's going on.
It's always a retraction, isn't it?
Right.
It's a retraction.
And
if you can
it's
get
a
'em.
great tool.
Yeah.
It is a great tool. I love them, and that way, they'll always be with my guys.
Right.
Always. I mean, it's just
If they'll
it's the
show
greatest
it.
thing ever.
Right.
If
I
they-
wanna-
they'll show it. and
It's
show
been
the fans.
it's been a great interview so far, Bill. I want to thank you for coming on. I know we're going to try to wind it up here a little bit. I want to go over. My sister said, "Got to have them so they don't lie like they do." So she was talking about the body cam. So absolutely. Want change? You have to get out and vote. Sitting at home and saying I like or hope that Bill wins won't help get that change. Get out and vote. He says, "Good luck, brother, and God bless you."
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you're right. You got to vote.
You got to vote. If it's what I've been trying to tell everybody on my campaign route. I've told everybody that if you want the change, like you say you want the change, then you have to go vote, and you have to go vote for me.
Right.
If you don't and you like it the way it's being done, then you need to vote for Jeff.
Well,
That's it.
I live in the county. I can't vote.
No.
Why? Starke is my city.
Well, and I agree with that. I don't know. I mean, that's always been a question of mine is why the city can vote for county, but the county can't vote for the city.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, we especially in a small town, Bill. I think you'll agree with this, and I think to help Dave's question here, we all know each other here. You know what I mean? We know who Bill Murray is. We know who Jeff Johnson is. We know who Gordon Smith is. Whether we live in the county, whether we live in the city, or whether we live on the line, whatever it is, we all know each other. And I really think that, and I agree with it, I just think it's not fair that, we can't have a say as a vote for the chief of police. It just...
You got to say in the vote for your chief of police.
That's because I live in Lawdy.
Oh, okay.
That's because I live in Lawdy.
There we go.
Yeah, so that's because I live in Lawdy. And I also hey, I can vote for the sheriff too, right?
Yeah, you vote for the
Yeah,
sheriff.
so-
I'm picking on you, man.
I know you
know
knew
that.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, I knew you were going to.
I just want to say one thing, with this campaign, both with you and Jeff, I have heard no negative
neither. I was gonna
about
say.
either one of y'all not smashing each other. So far it's been a very clean race, and I love when races are ran that way because it keeps all the negativity out and the false crap out.
And and it takes it back to our Lord and Savior.
Right.
That's the way He would want you to do it.
Exactly.
So that's the way I'm going to do it.
Right.
My life is devoted to Him, and that's that's what He wishes for me to do. So that's how I'm going to do it. It's not going to be dirty.
Right.
It will never be dirty.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's really no sense in it.
There's not.
No, there's not.
Because, we've had other races in the county and in the city that
Ooh.
in the past that have been really nasty. And what you end up with is 4 or 5 families hating 4 or 5 other families because we're all related or we're all friends in some way.
Exactly.
And there's no sense in it.
No, there's not.
The last race, I got a little bit of heat because of some things that I did that I didn't think was wrong. Some people thought the Mr. Hartley thing and those kind of things. You don't think people always want to find it, and like you were saying, always want to find a negative. Why can't we find a positive in things? Why it's so why? Because people think it's so hard to dig up something good when it's always all bad from whatever media outlet, whatever media source. They always look for the bad because what did he say a while ago? Dirty media and bad media sells.
Yeah,
the feel-good stories don't sell.
No, not anymore.
No, not anymore.
The whole thing is when you give people what we give people with these interviews, and we gave both those people that you're talking about right now
ample time.
The same thing, ample time.
Yes.
And I don't know what the problem was, but that's all right.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, sometimes you have to live, with that. And of course, I didn't feel like me did anything wrong, and we're going to keep preaching that. Dave, I'm going to give you a final question for Bill, if you have one, or you want to tell him anything, or.
I'm still working on something.
Are you?
Move
Good.
right on.
Okay, Mike.
No, I mean, I appreciate you coming in. I had a couple of questions that I had, and my questions were very pointed and specific because they're both candidates, the incumbent and yourself. And I appreciate the fact that you didn't sidestep anything. A lot of elections, not necessarily local, but just across the board, you get people that are like, well, I'll get back to you on that one, or whatever like that one. It takes a lot for candidates to step out of their comfort zone and come on to an unscripted show. You had no idea what we were going to throw at you.
No,
the audience is asking
did
questions,
very well.
and I thought you handled yourself very well, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show.
I appreciate y'all inviting me. It was a good time. I'd like to do it again.
There you go. Absolutely.
Bill, instead of a question, I want to thank you for coming in and being honest with us about what you're doing.
That's the way the Lord leads me, so that's what I do.
I got one question. One thing I'd like to see is a group effort by the police department and by the sheriff's department to target people driving in the rain with no lights on.
I knew that was
also
coming.
driving at dusk and dawn with no lights on.
And I'm glad that that's a point that's been touched because back in February my son was in of course it wasn't raining, it was foggy that morning, but I almost lost my son from a bad wreck out there on 100 going by Edwards Groceries there.
I remember.
And I'm like the sheriff. I don't remember if anybody's seen that. Well, I'm sure a lot of you viewers did on Facebook where the sheriff had put out, "Don't rely on the automatic lights.
Yes.
Please do not don't rely on them things. If it's raining, reach over. It just takes a minute for you to reach over and turn your light switch on, even in the fog.
Right.
Yeah.
And if the fog is so bad that you can't even see, 10 feet in front of you, don't pass. Do not pass.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not worth your life or anybody else's life. It's not.
Well, and what I see a lot of times during the rain, I mean, it could be 5 or 6 o'clock, but if you take a vehicle that is white, light gray, light blue, with the overspray coming off the road from the other vehicles, you cannot see them when they don't have their lights on.
Yeah, it's true.
I agree. Again, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you got something, Dave?
Yeah,
My goodness, all
something
right.
came to my head here.
Something that came to your okay.
Mitchell asked that question.
All right.
You know how trucks are sitting with the front of them way up high, and on a normal level, a truck is required to have that beam set at a certain angle.
Yes.
So when that car's jacked up,
I knew that was coming.
is it against the law because the beam is even dim lights? They'll shine right into your eyes.
I don't want to sound like I'm trying to sidestep something because I would have to look into the statutes a little bit harder to see
Well, there you
what
go.
what it requires. I'm sure that for one, I'm not trying to get off subject here. I mean, why would you want to be hunting squirrels? Anyway, but ride down the road. But that's me.
It restricts their view.
It does.
Which brings up another thing. My son had his not quite as bad as some of these trucks around here I've seen, but did have his squatting a little bit and ended up changing lanes one day on his way to work in Gainesville and didn't see the car beside him and bumped into her. He kept bumping into her, couldn't figure out why he couldn't get over. Then he realized, he kind of looked up and said, "Oh, okay."
And I've done bumped this thing three times, right?
Yeah, so I think to me, honestly, I think it's very unsafe. I really do.
That's the reason.
I really do. I don't. I can understand it if to me it's like the big wheel mud trucks. Okay, if you're taking it to an event, okay, you trailer it. If you're taking that truck to an event, trailer it. Don't drive it down the road.
Yeah.
If it's going to an event where you're trying to see how high you can get the front end, how low you can get the front end, and how nice and neat the truck looks and all that stuff, put it on a trailer. Tow it.
Yeah. If it's not FDOT legal, don't need to be on the road.
You're exactly right. So.
Yeah, my concern was, there's a lot of old people in Starke, and at nighttime,
Sure.
those lights get a little blurry when they're coming at you.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
And then they look like they're bright, but when you flash your bright light to dim them, they hit you with their bright light.
Well, we
Right.
also have a problem in the county. I don't know if it's so much of a city problem, but we have a lot of problems in the county with people running their light bars down the highway, and they're supposed to be used for off-road use.
Yeah.
And I actually went in the ditch almost one time trying to turn in because the kid had a light bar on, and he pulled in the gas station right after me, and I told him, I said, "You like that light bar?" "Oh, yeah." I says, "Next time you see me coming down the road, it better be off, or I'm going to take my hammer out of my trunk and I'm going to beat it." I said, "You about killed me because I couldn't see where to turn in out."
I want to give you one last shot to tell the viewers when the election is. Come out and vote. Whatever you want to say there. I'll give you final word on this.
I appreciate that. And like I said before, even on my campaigning, if you want change, then I'm the change. You need to come vote for me. There's only two people on the ballot, and that's me and the Chief Johnson, right now. So early vote is August the 23rd through Saturday the 28th, and that's from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and that's at the Supervisors of Elections office at the courthouse. And then again on August the 31st, which I believe is at City Hall from 7 to 7.
Right. I think you're right.
But please, if you have to get out and cast your vote, we need a good turnout. Instead of the years before where the turnout wasn't so great, everybody just wanted to let everybody, you just have your regulars. Everybody needs to get out and vote. Cast your vote. It's even when we're not doing the city vote, even just whenever we're doing any vote, worldwide vote.
Exercise your right.
Yes, you have that right to do it. You need to get out and vote. You need to express your opinion on, especially for your candidates, the one that you believe needs to be in office.
Is there a Facebook page or a phone number or some way that people can contact you?
I have a Facebook page. It's Select Bill Murray for Chief of Police, City of Starke, and I also have my number is 904-796-9504. That's 904-796-9504. You can contact me anytime you want. That's my personal number. If I don't answer, please leave me a message. Please leave me a message and a phone number, and I will call you back.
Well, Bill, again, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Again, with the panel here and the way you answered these questions, really didn't sidestep anything. You answered all the questions that came across as far as through the comments section. And I want to apologize to the viewing audience if we did miss one. We will try to get that answer for you. We'll put it on our page. We'll ask Bill and if that has happened. Again, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to wish you good luck. Friday night, we do have the Chief of Police coming. He will have his turn on the spot with David Rodgers on Friday night. That show will be at 7 o'clock. And again, I want to thank you, my friend, for coming on.
Thank you so much.
You are going to stick around for a piece of this cake, right?
Man, it looks like I really need a cake, don't it?
Yeah. Well, none of us need it.
Just think you're going to walk it off tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll walk it off tomorrow. Hey, right. We'll be right back with final comments right after this commercial break. I tell you what, I caught that we didn't have no sound. Mike, do you mind just real quickly hitting that weather again?
Yeah, so real quick here, folks, it's going to be, he's going to throw the graphic back up, the local graphic. He's going to do that for us. Again, the hot spot is going to be Florida with temperatures around 90 degrees throughout the peninsula. The beautiful spot for the entire southeast is going to be Charlotte, North Carolina. Lower humidities, especially as you get into the Piedmont area. Temperatures in the 80s, a little bit lower humidity, and a lot of sunshine. Locally for us, the afternoon showers and thunderstorms are going to build more prevalent tomorrow. Fading as we head in toward the end of the week. Friday looking pretty decent. Saturday not too bad at all. Those of you turning out for the Jeep event, downtown Starke along Call Street, should have decent weather as we move into the afternoon on Saturday.
All right. Well, thank you, Michael, for that third weather report. There you go. Hey, sound went off for just a second. We got it back. So now we're here with final comments. Again, I want to thank Mr. Bill Murray for coming in. He's going to be running for Starke Chief of Police. You heard those voting times and those voting days and times. I want to encourage you, as he said earlier as well, please go out and vote. You're thinking your vote, a lot of people think, oh, my vote don't make a difference. I can tell you what, if you see these last few elections, whether it's national, regional, state, look, man, every vote counts, brother. Yes. Some of that stuff has been closer than what I thought it was going to be. So every vote counts. Please register to vote. Go out and vote. And like you said, like he said, if you're wanting change, Bill says he's the candidate to vote for. If not, we're going to have Chief of Police himself that's currently in office, Jeff Johnson, with us on Friday night at 7 o'clock. And we'll see what he has to say as well. So we should have two great shows back to back. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Thank you again, Bill, Dave. Thank you for what you do. The Dragon Slayer, thank you for writing the show. You didn't produce it. The producer's bringing up little stuff there. Hey, how about Byron Bagwell? Do you have a picture of Byron?
You got it wrong.
No?
The Byron Bagwell.
Well, hang on just a second. As soon as this picture comes up,
Lord,
we'll have the Byron Bagwell. There he is. Look at that, man. Your beard even looks like that. Man, that's a good-looking picture of you. And, of course, my main man, the local guru, David Cassidy himself, Mr. Mitchell Gunner. Do we have David Cassidy up here?
Yes.
Let's see. Let's see if David Cassidy pops up. Maybe he won't. Maybe you're going to get lucky. 3, 2. Oh! There he is, Mitchell Gunner. Back in 1974, Shirley Jones was your mom on the Partridge Family. Look at those jean shorts. Are you modeling those this weekend?
No, I'm not.
Are you sure?
I will run everybody off at the show sign Jeep cruising.
I want to say God bless you guys. Y'all have a great rest of the week. What you got?
Confucius said, never lower the rear end of a truck. It looks like a dog rubbing his rear end over a carpet.
Well,
I heard that.
I was just always afraid of running into their invisible trailer.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, there you go.
Man, seriously, there are statutes.
There is, and we'll get into that. Absolutely. All right, on behalf of everybody that I just named here, I'm your host, David Rodgers. God bless you guys. Have a great week. Friday, we have a great show. We have Chief Johnson coming on right behind Mr. Bill Murray. God bless you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you Friday. Take care. Love each and every one of you.
I had to.